make your day richer than it was before. Got some good times knocking upon your front door. It's the Richard Wilmore Show.
We'll see what happens.
All right, we'll try it out.
I first want to say thanks for hanging out with me. And even though I don't know what time zones are and how to use them, you still looked beautiful yesterday.
Thank you.
Just so you know that no one would have noticed anything else.
I'll take that. Thank you.
So where are you today?
So today I'm in Melrose. I'm in West Hollywood. And I had my appearance, I'm not sure if you saw it, on the Jenny McCarthy show this morning.
Yes.
So that was awesome. Her studio, her Sirius XM studio is in New York. And so it was a telephone dial-in show appearance, but still lots of fun.
That's fun.
And and then I had another meeting at 11, which brought me into West Hollywood. And that's where I am right now. So,
That means an early morning for you to call into Jenny, right?
Right, yeah, it was, for me, in my time zone, it was 8 o'clock a.m., which is, it's early to start your day.
Yeah, that's not horrible, though. At least it wasn't like 4
it wasn't like 6 a.m., right? Yeah, because it could have been 8 o'clock Eastern.
That's true. And now you're on my show. I mean, what a day for you.
I'm telling you, like, I have been waiting all day to get onto your show, so I'm super excited about that.
Tell your friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, your resume, your list of things that I guess you could call yourself. I mean, you're an author, you're also a talk show host, you're a speaker. I mean, how do you describe what you do?
Right. So I'm going to take it back to when I was 16 years old. Okay. And I knew without a doubt in my heart, kind of similar to your story, that I was absolutely meant to be on television, be a presenter, do that sort of thing. So that's absolutely how I kind of structured my life and my career, to just make sure I'm in front of a camera, being articulate and looking pretty and getting paid for it. But the interesting thing is, I think as we mature, our careers evolve. So I'm kind of opened up from just pure television into being a professional spokesperson. And then also writing 2 books recently, both of them on the power of human potential, self-development, and transformation that we kind of have to look into if we want to continue to grow and evolve. Because I think if you're not growing and evolving, then you're contracting and you're basically slowly dying. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what leads to a lot of unfulfillment for a lot of people, is they're just living a stagnant life and they've either forgotten about their dreams or they've never had the balls to chase them in the first place. So that's why I really love what you're doing and I resonate with it, because you and I are sort of on a similar path like that. We're pursuing and following our passion.
Yeah. What gave you the balls to do it?
I had a real clear conversation with self, where I projected myself a few years ago to the age of 90. And I was like, what would my 90-year-old self tell my 30-year-old self? And my 90-year-old self said, stop playing small and get your head out of your ass and go live the life that you know you're supposed to live. Now, it's not always easy and it evolves, but I really want to get to a place where I turn 90 years old, knock on wood, if I make it there, and I can look myself in the mirror and say, I really lived full out. I don't have a lot of regrets. And I would really be sad if I did. And I would have regretted never coming to Los Angeles to really try and pursue this full on.
Where did you move from? Where did you grow up?
Yeah, so I'm originally Canadian. I grew up in Calgary. And I have to say that being in Los Angeles, this is why I'm outside, Richard, because being a Canadian in January, the ability to be outside is like, I have to take it.
I grew up in northern Wisconsin. I understand.
Right. So you know all about winter, right?
Yes.
So being in Texas must be a nice change for you in January as well.
I couldn't be happier. It's 70 degrees today.
Right. Jan or Feb or March, any of these months. We're in all of them.
Literally from September until June, I'm fine as long as I'm not in Wisconsin yet.
Totally.
So what's your day like? How are you doing it?
So this is the thing is, before I moved to Hollywood, I've been here for a few years now, but I was a professional media consultant, media specialist. And so I would work internationally with companies to try to get them more visibility in the media. So basically, everyone knows the more visible you are, the more people are going to know about you, the more followers and loyalty you're going to get, and the more sales you're going to be able to convert. So I basically worked as a consultant in media to help companies gain that visibility. When I decided to turn that expertise on myself and start to get myself more visible. The thing is that I think at the end of the day, you have to really live into what you enjoy doing. And I think the people that have killed it in life, whether it's Picasso with the arts or Beethoven with music or whatever, sports star you can think of, they really had a passion for what they do. And I think the more people that live into their passion, the more they're able to give their gift to the rest of us. And collectively, the better we all get. So I just was at a point where I had done TV when I was younger, and then I moved away from it, and I went into corporate. And it was just time to come back to TV. So yeah, now I'm a digital media host here in Hollywood. I host different online web series. I have a talk show of my own called LA 40. I host a show called Book Circle Online for anyone that likes books. It's authors only. And we're starting a new show that's going to be called OPM, which is a finance-based show on other people's money, how you can use other people's money, leverage other people's investment to grow your business, and why you shouldn't be scared of doing that.
So when exactly do you sleep?
I don't.
I see that. Yeah, it sounds like it.
But, it's funny because you're starting to see the evidence of that, like these little crow's feet right here. They're coming in. No, you know what? I think it's all about balance. And I'll be really honest with you, I haven't been balancing the last couple of years. I've been working, and I got really tired last summer, and I got really frustrated, and I'm trying right now, and maybe some of your female audience members will resonate with this a little bit, because as little girls we're told, oh, you can be anything, you can be president, you can be CEO, you can do whatever you want to do, and that's awesome. But we sometimes don't remind our little girls that they're allowed to be feminine. They're allowed to take a break. And so I just came to a point where I was like, you know what? I'm pushing, I'm striving, I'm achieving. It was just so much masculine energy that I was like, I need to just bring it down a notch. And so I've been trying to live into being a little more feminine and sleeping in a little bit more and actually like getting up and having a day off. And I have come over the last couple of months to recognize that balance is important because we can keep achieving, and then what we're going to achieve only so much at the cost of like enjoying it, and if you don't make time to enjoy it, what's the point?
Well, yeah. How do you think media has I feel like all of a sudden there's this like surge of different medias and everybody's grasping for it and trying to do the next big thing and be the next big thing. What do you think about that?
Well, the thing is, what we've seen a shift, especially the last 5 years, where traditional media and digital media, not only are they merging, but they've merged, right? So when we talk television, we're not talking traditional TV on a wall anymore in our house. We're talking exactly this kind of TV. It's become TV on the internet. When we're talking radio traditionally in your car and podcast. So those have completely merged based on, our ability to have a handheld device in our car and watch TV as we're driving. I don't recommend doing that, but we can, right?
We can, yes.
So part of the challenge, I think, for everyone is how do you cut through the static? How do you cut through the static of everyone who now has an iPhone and thinks they're a movie director? And I think it comes down to two things. Number one is authenticity. The people that are authentic are the ones that are going to cut through a lot of the bullshit. You have to just be comfortable with who you are and be who you are and not be apologetic about who you are. I heard a stat that regardless of what position you take, you'll have 20% of people out there that love you, 20% of people out there that hate you, and 60% that really don't give a damn. So if you think about that, it kind of chills you out a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And then number 2 is I think you just need to be creative. I think people are striving to get something creative. And we forget that, you know, when it comes to entertainment and media, even if you're, let's say, a chiropractor and you happen to be on your local Channel 6 and you're pitching your new chiropractic method, you have to make sure you're doing that with an entertainment stint on it.
Mm-hmm.
Because when it comes to radio or television or even magazines, you've got to engage the 3 E's. So that's enlightening, engaging, and entertaining. And so if you want to be on TV, if you want to be on the radio, if you want to be out there, you need to make sure you're coming with something that's kind of fun for people.
Yeah. All in a 30-second time span because everyone's attention spans are on to the next thing on Instagram.
You got to get it out there. They used to say it was 12 seconds. Now I think it's less than 2.
It has
like
to be.
Now, because of things like Bumble and Tinder where you're just literally swiping, it's like less than 2 seconds. So engage me in less than 2 seconds. Otherwise, fuck off. It's like crazy. But it's crazy.
It's kind of scary, actually, I think.
Yeah.
What do you... talk a little bit about your books, actually. So I know you have 3 books, correct?
Right. Yes. So I've got 3. 2 of them are going to be ready probably by March.
Okay.
So 2 of them are publishing. They're just finishing up with publishing now, and the 3rd one is in editing. So it's still a few months out. But basically, what happened was I was living in Hollywood. And, you know, I'm reporting from the Oscars red carpet, and I'm covering the Billboard Music Awards, and I'm doing all this cool Hollywood stuff. And it's like, okay, that's great, but I got to balance it with something that is a little more meaningful. And so I need to just make sure that I'm not losing myself in this perceived superficiality in a way that's just so much Kardashians and football sometimes. You got to bring it back in. So I thought, let me just chat about this in my own language and my own terms. And that's where the inspiration for the books came out. And just a reminder to people that it's never too late to try something new.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so one of my books is called How to Unleash Your Infinite Potential. And it just really talks about not being afraid to shine. You know, I think too often we're really scared about what's the neighbor going to think, what's mom and dad going to think, what's my partner going to think. And it's like, yeah, but what is your soul calling you to do, you know? And a lot of people, and you yourself might be like this, but I know for me, I was just very analytical. I spent a lot of time up here, and I wasn't down here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you're too much in your head, you're missing the calling of your heart and your soul and your spirit. And that's really ultimately what knows it's guiding you. And so I've really been trying to tune into, and with the book, we're trying to bring people into resonating with what your truth is and not worrying as much about what you should do, but what you want to do. And it's incredible the energetic shift that happens when you start looking at your day as what do I get to do rather than what do I have to do.
Wow. They can pre-order that on your website, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Good.
So pre-order the books. They're going to be, one of them should be ready by the end of February. It's called the Change Book Series. And the second one, How to Unleash Your Infinite Potential, should be ready by the end of March. But you can pre-order now. And I'd love for anyone that's looking for either some interesting material to read on how to propel yourself forward and pursue your passion, or for anyone that's looking for some media assistance, because I do media consulting and I have some platforms for media exposure. You know, I want to leave people with this idea that if you're not in the media and your business isn't visible, then you're not really in business. People need to know about you. So if you have a business, if you're self-branding, if you're an author, a musician, a yoga studio owner, and you know that you could benefit from increased media exposure, then definitely come see me, because I'd love to help you out.
And they can do that on your website, because that's how you contact you. Yes.
That's right. That's right. And of course, I make it easy.
You do.
So my website is just my name, and all my social media is my name. So it's KaterinaKazayas.com.
And we'll link all of that on our website.
Yeah.
Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, I love being here. I love chatting with anyone that is pursuing their own passion. And I think your show's cool, and I think it's just a place where people can share their stories, share a little bit of their passion. And I thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Enjoy your 80 degrees.
Awesome.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Hi, Tasha Wilmore, founder of Helpline Zach.
Hi, I'm Richard Wilmore. I'm a freelance social media director and a webmaster.
Help on Deck provides customized administrative support to business owners that will help you get through your day and achieve work-life balance.
And I get the small business owner back to work because time spent maintaining your online presence is time away from work. Welcome to Two Owners Walk Into a Meeting.
We're glad to have you.
And I'm using my Corius mug.
Perfect. You're set. You're ready to go. Is it coffee or vodka in there? Or is it?
It's water.
Oh.
But I'll pretend like it's whatever it is you want me to be.
It sounds like it should be a mimosa, is what I'm guessing.
Well, it should be. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to build my brand around, is the mimosas.
That's a good brand to. That's a good thing to build around, I would say.
Yeah. Are we already recording?
On Mimosas with Michael. You've been doing that since September? Your podcast?
Actually, I launched it in October.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So and we just hit 1,000 marks on our website today.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So I'm really excited about that. So it seems to be growing, which is nice.
That's the goal, right?
That's right. It seems people like mimosas.
Well, yeah. I mean, I was trying to think of like how I could get my name around like a Bloody Mary. I'll figure that out at some point.
Alliteration is fun.
It's true. What was the guide for your podcast? How did that come about?
Well, I kind of had been toying with an idea of a podcast before, and then I met a couple of people on this movie that I was working on. And one of the guys and I had a really good rapport, Richard. I can see myself trying to start myself up. My friend Richard and I had a great rapport, and people were like, "Oh, you guys are so funny. You should, And I said, we should just do a podcast. Like, why not? I'm sure we can be funny every week." And so we decided to sort of launch our own at the time, and that one was called When Straight Meets Gay, because I was the gay guy, he was a straight guy, and then we had another guy on set that sort of came to hang out while we recorded, and so we incorporated him to the show. So it was the three of us, and it was great because one of the guys is in his 20s, then Richard was in his 30s, and I'm 40. And so we kind of had this nice little gambit of like three people in different generations that could sort of give feedback on a topic. But then one of the guys, the younger one, he started going to school back. He went back to school to take acting classes, and he got a girlfriend. He was traveling a lot, and we all three work in film, so it was kind of tough to get our schedules situated. So that one, it kind of fizzled out. And then in August, I was doing a movie back in Massachusetts, and I was like, I really, really want to do. I was having so much fun with it, and we were guests on another podcast. We were having a great time. But then, he's so cute. And then it's okay. I wave dogs. So I was like, I want to do my own. And so I was polling people on set, like, if you had to be a guest on this show, would you want to be a guest? And so we were going back and forth. And I kind of wanted to create a show where two friends could just sit and talk over having a drink. Mm-hmm. So I know that that's sort of like Sunday Fun Day, then mimosas, and Michael sounds good with mimosas. I really love the alliteration. So I kind of toyed with the idea of mimosas with Michael. And then when I got back, we recorded a couple episodes and launched it October 1st. I called my friend Kevin. He wanted to be part of the other podcast. So like I said, that one would die out. So I said, well, just try this one and see what happens. And I don't know, people seem to like the idea. It's a long story, I know, but that's how it happened.
Well, that's the point of a talk show, is you talk, so that's good. It would be weird if we were just sitting here in silence. Is doing a podcast and figuring it all out and booking guests, is that harder than you thought? Or is it sort of to the point now where people are coming to you to come on? Yeah,
it's a little bit of both. I'm lucky enough because like I work in film and I have a lot of artist friends, and they're always looking for an outlet. So it's easy in that sense, but it's hard because I'm still starting out. So I have to go to my friend Richard's house, and he lives just far enough outside of LA that it's hard to get people to go, right? Because of the drive, which is then we can have people call in. But the weird thing is and it never fails, I'll set up a day to do the recording, and then either I'll book a job or he'll book a job, the freelance life. And so I'm always struggling. I have to call everybody back like, I'm really sorry. I have to cancel. I do it like next week. And so sometimes those particular guests get busy.
Yeah.
So that's the hardest part. But like I said, I'm growing. So I'm able to, I have a small recorder. I can take it to people and we can meet in person and talk. Or I can call him on the phone and record it and send it to him and he can audio engineer it. So it's getting easier.
Mm-hmm.
And then now that people are starting to hear about it and find it, like there's this one company that has authors. They want to put all their authors on it. Another PR company found me about putting. So it's finding its sort of like niche. So it's just, and then like with you, like if I'm on a show, I like to have them on so that way we can sort of cross promote. So it's just it grows every day.
Yeah, it's kind of fun
As
now.
you know, sure, as you know.
Yeah, it's fun now. It's easy to DM someone on Instagram, and then boom, you have a guest. Like that's the nice part, really, about social media with the stuff that we do. It's easy access to people. So look for that, mimosaswithmichael.com. You can watch that or listen to that.
And we're on iTunes and Google Play and Stitcher and all those. We just got on. We're at a bunch of places. I don't know. There's so many out there. You can just find us. Any podcast you can like listen. You can find it. It's there.
Yeah, that's
so,
the
also on YouTube.
Nice thing is you can go anywhere now.
Yeah, I love it.
So people probably don't know you from in front of camera, but they probably know a ton of your work, correct? Or things you.
I work in film, and So I'm one of those people, like I left my job at 30. I wanted to go make movies. And so, I wanted to be a writer. And so at the age of 30, I kind of just walked off my full-time job and started working in film. And I'm on crew. So if people know my work, it's really like I'm just part of the crew of like movies and stuff. So, I'm not famous yet, but I feel like this year will be the year that I sort of jump off and start directing my own work and writing bigger projects. So hopefully next time you have me on your show, I'll have a huge fan base.
Bring them with you, please.
No,
Yeah, but you've written some, like you're doing the Rock's Haunted Hotel, correct?
Well, that actually is already done. That was done a year and a half ago. That was interesting. So a friend of mine emailed me one day and said, "Hey, I need somebody who writes horror movies." And I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah." And he told me that YouTube and Blumhouse were doing a sort of virtual reality skit. And I said, "Oh, okay." And so they were doing it with their a lot of their influencers, and it was being directed by Jesse Wellens from Prank vs. Prank, because he has like 10 million followers and all that stuff. So they had this sort of concept about this guy being trapped in like this haunted hotel with all these other influencers, and the idea was they were all going to be given the same set, and they had to like build a 3 or 4 minute video based on what their fear was. And then Jesse was going to sort of make this long incorporation of all of them together. So I was hired to write the sort of incorporation of them all. And we shot it. And then right as we were about to go into, so there was like this concierge that you were supposed to meet when you were checking into the hotel. And at first they didn't have it. It was just, I thought of a character sort of like Lurch from the Addams Family. Sort of creepy and like deep voice. So that's how I wrote it. And I wrote it to be horror. Like I love horror. But you have a guy who does pranks who was directing it. And then right as we went into production, they emailed me. They're like, "Oh, we have to change the script. We just got The Rock involved." And I was like, "Oh, now I'm like this little guy that just wants to make movies and write. And now you're telling me that The Rock is going to be involved in something?"
He's your Lurch.
I freaked out. I changed the script slightly, and then his people actually emailed me and were just like, "Can you say this? Can we do this?" So I had to change it, and then he kind of added his own little into it as well. So, but he was shooting. He was actually shooting Jumanji 2 at the time.
Oh.
So they had to go to Hawaii and shoot his half on a green screen and sort of incorporate them together.
Wow.
So, yeah. So that's like probably one of the biggest things I've done as a writer recently, which is kind of fun. I also wrote a horror script with Victor Miller. He wrote the original Friday the 13th.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's any horror producers out there that want to make a kick-ass horror film, call this guy.
This guy right here.
This one.
What about You Can Call Me Eve?
So You Can Call Me Eve was based on a play that I wrote about how I had this story I'm gonna say like 10 years ago. I didn't want to say how long it has been. And it's a Latin drama about this woman who loses her husband and now she's alone and she's trying to figure out where to go in her life. You know, she's never been alone before. And the play did really well. We had a run of it here in Los Angeles a couple years ago, and so I finally adapted that into a feature script. And so we've been shopping that around for the last for the last year or so, trying to get actors attached and find, production company. You'd be surprised how hard it is to get a Latin drama. Like, dramas in general are hard, and to have a leading lady who's probably 60s, which is such a great role for any older Latin actress, but just to find that, it's been tough. But I'm telling you, that's the movie that's going to win the Academy Award. Again, cross our fingers.
And then you'll come back and talk about it. And that
I know.
That can be next to you instead of maybe my cat.
Yeah. Okay, that'll be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so that's what You Call Me is.
Did you start Bear Claw Films? Is that your company?
Yeah, it's a production company because I was doing my own short films, and so it was sort of like a way to brand myself. I mean, yeah, I'm Mimosas with Michael, but I'm also Bear Claw Films. It's my company, so I'm trying to grow it as well. Start to do more. I've been doing shorts, but my goal for 2018 is to do more features. So.
And when did you start that? I mean, it sounds like you've only really been in the business for 10 years?
Roughly 11 years, yeah.
Wow.
I probably started maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I wasn't going to. It was just something I did on the side, and now after being in the industry for 11 years and getting bigger contacts, I'm starting to grow it more.
Good.
So that's one of my goals for 2018 was grow Bear Claw Films, grow the podcast, write more, produce more, direct more.
Is any of that? I mean, I know it's early in the year, but how is the growth going? Obviously, we were talking about Mimosas with Michael getting bigger already.
Yeah.
What's your plan? Do we have anything that you can tell us for Bear Claw Films for 2018?
Well, right now I'm going into pre-production for a horror film I wrote called Axe. So I did this short film with a short film called Axe probably, I want to say 5 years ago. I'm so bad with timelines. About 5 years ago. And then we sort of developed it into a feature. And then I had a reading here at the house with some actors. And people seemed to like it. It was really well received. So I had adapted it into a feature, made a few changes. And so, yeah, we're moving forward with that with my producer, Taylor Martin. So, and his company, Martin Bros.
So you have a lot of reasons to come back all this year. You'll be on every week.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
Updating us on what's
Well, I guess I just get bored. For instance, when things were slowing down with the movie, I was like, all right, well, that's there, and I sent it out to people. But in the meantime, I can come over here and do this. Okay, that's slowing down. Perfect. So this is, I probably take on too many things, but I love what I do. I love helping people. I love talking to people. So it's kind of like I wanted to create a brand of somebody that likes to help people and create really awesome, cool things. Mm-hmm. I think so. Yeah. And by the time this airs, I think I'm gonna have a lot of more things to talk about.
Good, that you can update us.
Yeah, of course, without a doubt.
Do you have anything to say or words of advice to that person who's hesitant to get into the business, who thinks maybe they're in the middle of nowhere and they can't do it, or they're starting too late in life, or?
It's funny. I actually get asked that question a lot, and I did a podcast a couple months ago with this guy who does a podcast for entrepreneurs. And one of the things I always tell people is don't be afraid to fail. And it's hard because I think a lot of people, I waited until I was 30 until I even walked off my job. And it seems like I'm doing a lot, but I would love to have You Can Call Me Eve done, but it's so hard to get a drama made, especially in a sort of, right now we're just growing, doing more movies with women and stuff, right? And so it takes so long to get stuff done, and people get frustrated and want to give up. And that's one of the hardest things is you can't give up no matter how hard it is. It may take a long time. So the advice that I give is don't be afraid to fail. I think that's why people are afraid to take that first step, is because what if it doesn't work? Yeah, what if it doesn't work? But that doesn't mean you shouldn't take that step, right? It just means you have to find a different way to do it. It's with anything, right? But if you're doing what you love to do, then it's not work. That's why I do it. I love it.
Yeah.
You know, I wake up every day and do what I love.
Yeah, it's.
I don't know if that's the best advice, but that's advice I give.
If you can find that job that you actually like
Yeah.
getting up for, then you should probably stick with it until it works, even if maybe it isn't working for a while.
Yeah, and I was once told that the right path is never the easiest to follow, right? And let's be honest, if it was easy, everybody would do it. It wouldn't be fun.
Right.
So that's why, you know, and I mean, I do get frustrated, but I like the challenges. It's like, you know, because along the way of me making, like, You Can Call Me Eve and me doing acts, I meet new people and I'm enjoying new experiences, and it goes off and creates other things, you know, that I wasn't expecting. You know, I used to work in a job where no one wanted to hear what I had to say. And I was just another peon to making movies for a living. And now look, I'm on shows and podcasts all the time, giving people advice and to follow their dreams. I never ever thought I would have that. So I feel blessed in that sense.
That's awesome.
Thank you, sir.
Well, congratulations. I'm excited to watch you and to watch all of your brand and your umbrella get bigger. I'm excited.
Well, you and me both. You and me both.
All right. Thanks for hanging out.
Oh, my pleasure. This was fun. I love your little background.
See, your 15 minutes is up already.
Oh, well, you guys are great. Feel free to follow me. I talk to everybody. So, and you know, we'll have to have you on the show.
I'm not busy.
Okay, that's fair.
I have a lot
We'll
less
figure it
going
out.
on than you, so you let me know when to be there.
I will. Well, I'll message you.
All right, great.
All right, Richard. Well, thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Make your day richer than it was before. Got some good times knocking upon your front door. It's the Richard Wilmore Show.